everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a get ready with me. To get started, I am going to take this e.l.f. Glow Dewy Mist and put that on my face. I know this technically says to use it after you do your makeup, but I like to put this on at the beginning. I have seen a lot of people putting eyelash glue actually on their eyebrows to kind of prep them, so I figured why not. That is why I'm taking this duo eyelash adhesive, and I'm going to go ahead and apply that to my brows. Next, I'm going to take my e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil in the shade Deep Brown and go ahead and start filling in my eyebrows. So next I take a small brush and the Kylie Jenner concealer in the color Almond and put that under my brows to kind of clean them up some and make them look a little bit more put together. Fill in my brows a little more, so I took just one of my cheap like $1 eyebrow pencils, just brown ones, and filled in my brows a little bit more with that as well. I take the same Kylie concealer in the shade Almond with a damp sponge and pat that over my whole eyelid. Take my shadow brush. This is actually a MAC 224 dupe. I believe I got it on Amazon. I can't remember now. But I take that and the Jaclyn Hill palette, the shade Thick Skin, and apply that as my transition shade. And go ahead and put that on my lid. The brush that you see here, as well as any other brush that I have the same orange handle, is going to be part of the Saweetie and Morphe collaboration that she did. I'm not sure what the brushes, the titles are of them, but that's the collection that those are from. Next, I'm going to take my Pat McGrath palette and select this shade here. Now I'm going back to my Pat McGrath palette and I'm picking up some of that the black shade and going in to blend that in my crease with the other shadows that are there. Take my voluminous L'Oreal Voluminous mascara and put a coat of mascara on before I go to applying my lashes. I'm using this Wet n Wild H2O proof liquid liner to do a wing, which I haven't done in a while, but I do remember seeing a tip recently that said if you have trouble doing wing liner, that just make sure that you keep your hand, at least one hand on your face, and that helps your hand stay a lot steadier. So I tried that here and I feel like it does help.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me, between me and you. I feel like chemistry. I won't let no one come and take your place. 'Cause the love you
For lashes, I grabbed these mink lashes that I already had in my lash glue. I am using this Lock On Lash, which is by Danessa Myricks. Is awesome. You basically put it on the strip lash and you can go right to putting it on your eye. You don't have to allow time for it to get tacky. And once you put it on your eye, it'll pretty much stay there. I am going to take my e.l.f. Poreless primer putty and apply that to my face as a base for my concealer and foundation and the rest of my makeup. And I finally decided to break down and buy this primer just because I was just tired of not having a primer on my face. I had bought them before in the past and they either made my face look super greasy or they made me look super ashy. For foundation, I am actually using a combination of 3 different ones just because they all have different benefits and the shades are just a little bit different, and I feel like together they create a great shade for me. So I have the Maybelline Dream Urban Cover in the shade at 348. Also using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless in the shade 358. Finally, I also use the Milani 2-in-1 foundation and concealer in the shade Spiced Almond. This is just a cheap makeup brush. I did end up purchasing, I believe it's just an e.l.f. Brush that I saw a few people use to blend in their foundation, so I look forward to using that. For under eye concealer, I grabbed the Kylie Cosmetics concealer in the shade Peanut. To set my concealer, I'm using this Essence Brighten Up Banana Powder. I saw someone else use this and they said it had no flashback and it was only like, I believe, $5. For my bronzer, I'm going to take the Kylie Cosmetics bronzer in the shade Tawny Mommy. Okay, so now on to the wig and the review. So I take this bed head hairspray and use that to try to get the wig to lay down. take my elastic edge bands and put that on the edge of the wig to try to get that to lay down. And I end up leaving that on here for several minutes. I am taking this Lottie London blush in the shade Hot Red. And I am just going to go ahead and apply that to my cheeks and just a little bit on my forehead as well. So as an all-over kind of finishing powder, I ended up picking up this Essence My Skin Perfector in the shade Tan. And I'm just going to go over my face with that. I have super oily skin, so I always try to mattify that. And then this says that it has an instant blur effect, which I love the idea of that, especially on my cheek area. And I couldn't find my highlight, so I ended up grabbing my Pat McGrath palette once again and ended up using this shade as my highlight shade on my nose and cheeks.
When I get low, when I get low, when I look outside my window, I can't get no peace of mind.
Next, I take this Wet n Wild lip liner in the shade Bare to Comment and line my lips, which I thought this was going to be a lot darker. It looked a lot darker. That's okay. We went ahead and worked with it. Next, I'm going to take my NYX Lingerie in the shade Expose Me and apply that to the lips. So I wasn't quite liking how the lips were looking at that point. I applied another NYX Lingerie, which I don't know the shade of this one, and I can't seem to find it, and applied that on top as well. Last for the lips, I apply my e.l.f. Lip Plumping Gloss in the shade Champagne Glam. Since my liner was not the shade that I was kind of looking for my lips, I did end up applying some concealer around the border of my mouth, just because that area tends to be a little bit darker. As I remove the edge band, I noticed that the wig does not lay down as flat as I would like it to, or really as I would need it to. So I continue to finish my makeup and kind of play with the wig to the best of my abilities. But the base of this wig is like a vinyl type of material, so it's extremely tough. So I realized that just the hairspray that I was using alone is not going to be enough. Like I said, if you have anything that is lace, like if you purchase one of these wigs, a cheap wig or just any wig in general, if you have something that is going to have lace on it, that's going to hold a lot better because it's not as tough as like a vinyl, like with this wig. So at this point, I'm noticing that as time goes by, the wig is just lifting up. It's not staying down at all. So I'm pretty bummed because I love the way that the color turned out and it's not tangly at all. It does shed. So for $10, I mean, that was to be expected. But for me, at this point, the issue is the middle part where I needed to lay down, specifically that very, very front part where the indentation is. If I could have that part lay down, that would make a world of difference. The wig itself would look way more natural, as you can see as I push down on it. If you can catch those quick glimpses, you see what a difference it makes if just even that very front part and lays down. And I will show you all in a minute a super up close view of this, the way that I ended up cutting the very front, which is a method I use on all my wigs when there's a part like this, just because it allows it to look a lot more natural. This particular unit, although I did love the way that it colored, I feel like the texture is nice. I can always add dry shampoo if it ends up being too stringy or looking too shiny. The dry shampoo definitely helps with that. But this wig at this point is going to have to just be like something I wear with hats, throw on and go type of wig. I don't feel like I wasted my money. I loved experimenting, but at the end of the day, it is kind of like a you get what you pay for type of situation. So the next day I ended up grabbing my Got To Be in the yellow bottle and tried to see if I could use that to hold down that center part. So here's the close-up I was telling you all about. If you look right at the root, the very beginning of the wig in the front, you see that I have kind of an indentation. I kind of cut out like kind of a U shape in my wigs so that those front hairs that you see, those end up looking like they're growing out of your scalp, or in this case, if the wig had laid down flat, it would have looked so much better. This is my first time wearing like a all blonde style, but I really do like it, so I will definitely do this color in the future. Thank you all so much for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing. See you all in the next one. Bye.